I mean, I always feel like you can always learn. And I feel like you were saying, I remember one time you said you're always the smartest on the day you take your test. That's how I feel. Cause now I feel like everything's falling out of my head. So I'm like, I just need to keep reviewing.
All your penguins, are they jumping off? They're
Yes.
jumping off your iceberg. They're jumping off your iceberg. You're like, I don't know anymore. They're like,
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, what was that again?
it's funny. It's funny. So, share when people think about studying for the exam, they think about how hard it is, mostly because the stories that have been told in the past kind of get stuck in your present.
Right.
So
Right.
tell me, or share with me a little bit of the experience, like your experience.
I mean, that's exactly how I've been like my whole career. Like, I work with the CHT because I've been an OT for 30 years in February. I would have taken my COT or my NBCOTA exam, so it would be 30 years in February.
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna circle back to that question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna circle back to that topic because I get that question a lot. So go on.
Yeah. So, and I worked with a CHT at the other hospital I was at for a couple of years, but that was back in probably like 1995, 96 or something like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
was thought like, wow. So she must have like looking at when the CHT exam, she must have just taken it a few years before, because it was like brand new back then.
That's
And
right.
so, and then since then I've always been just like by myself at a clinic, so I have to rely on myself to like figure things out and learn. And so I didn't have any mentors or anything like that. So and so I told you like a few months ago, like probably 12, 15 years ago or something, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I would buy some books and start studying. And then like life would happen. My kids were young and just things got in the way and I couldn't do it. And so then so then last September, the MedBridge came out with the CHT prep course. And so I thought, oh, okay, this is a sign, like, because I'm going to do this. Yeah. So I did it. And then I was going through finishing those videos. And then like by spring, because I thought I'm going to do this in May. And by spring, I was like, I can't do this. Like, what are you, crazy? Like, you can't do this. And so then I think it was like in June, and one of my other coworkers, she left to do an internship at U of M Hospital, a fellowship, I should say. So she's just finishing her 1 year fellowship. And I thought, like in my head, like my crazy brain, I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna like become a CHT and come back and take my job. Like, not that she would ever do that, but that's not my crazy brain works.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think that is a really relevant and real fear for a lot of people.
Yeah. So when I saw your thing in June on like Facebook or something, I started like following some of your videos, and I thought, I can't do that. It's so much money. But I thought, but it's like it's a guidepost, it's a guideline, And then there's another one, that virtual hand, like there's another one too, that's like a year long or 6 months or whatever you want to make it. But I felt like watching those videos, it looked like every CHT I've ever met, like not snooty, but sort of, like just like their brain is this big and mine is only this big. So I was very intimidated. I'm like, I can't, no, I can't do that. But you just seem just more like down to earth, like, okay, I could maybe I could do this with her. And so when you had suggested I wait till May because you felt like you should do the whole 6 months. And I thought, you know what, in my head, I'm just gonna go for November and just try it and see what happens. And so I studied, like I just lived in my bedroom for 3 months. But I had been studying like, before that too. So it wasn't like I just did 3 months, but I had been studying a lot before that. But I just thought, I'm just gonna like take it now, and then I'll take it again in May, and like
Yeah.
you had said you would go over like areas that you could study more and focus
Yeah.
on. And like you said, you kept saying, don't put pressure on yourself. Don't like people that don't do well when they feel like I have to do it this time, you know? So
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, like I said, so many like novenas and prayers and rosaries to keep me calm. But I just remember like when I went in to do it, all these little things kept like it was so bizarre. Like when I got there, my login didn't work. And
Oh.
then you're embarrassed because they're bringing people in to like try to figure it out, but all these other people are trying to take your test, so you feel like you're disturbing them. And
Mhm.
then they finally figured it out. And then there's something else weird that happened. Oh, and then my phone kept going off, but I had left it out in the front. So they came in like, is this your phone? Can you come out and turn it off? And I'm like, oh my gosh, where did I leave it? Just all these weird things. And I'm just like, okay, just be calm, just like take the test. And I was like, if the proctor was watching us, I'm sure they were, but my arms were like this and I'm doing all these crazy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what they told us to do.
Your
And
arms are your cheat sheet. Tie your hands behind your back while you take
right,
the test. Like, no, your arms, your arms are your cheat
yeah.
sheet.
But I just felt like when I finished, I thought that's weird because there wasn't anything on the test that was completely foreign, like I had never heard before. Where before I started, like with your course, I also did the ASHT one. There's like a video bound book,
Yeah.
so I was doing both at the same time, which is like insane. Like, but but I felt like everything, like nothing was completely foreign, that I could just like rule in and rule out what was the right answer. And so that, and I think that helped too, to critically think like what's the right answer, what's the best answer. And
Were you on the study calls? Were you on the Saturday study calls?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
those are really good too, because at first, the first one I was like, we just spent an hour and we went through 8 questions, like this is not going to work, you know.
Yeah.
But that whole because I didn't understand the process, you know. But then I was like, oh, okay, so that makes sense. So now, like, and it was so funny because she would always say, okay, she wouldn't always say, but sometimes she'd say, this is a really hard question, it's really complicated. Let's everybody take a deep, and she would take a deep breath, and I'd be so like, I swear, almost every question, I'm like okay, take a deep.
Right.
It kept me calm and my brain to not explode.
Yeah.
So like all those little things just help to keep me focused. And I when I was at work, they sent out the email, on there, and I was like, I can't look at this here, like because I probably didn't pass, that was my thought. And I thought, you know what, you already know you probably didn't pass, just look at it. And I
Oh, wait, you froze. You froze.
oh
Wait, you
I,
froze. So you checked it and then what
oh
happened?
I checked it, and I was like, what? Like this said I passed, and I'm like, and I started like shaking. Like I was just like, what? And so I walked out into the hallway, and we have a new supervisor now, and it's a guy. Before, the girl that signed off on that I had enough hours, and I told her, I'm like, you can never ask me about this again. I'm gonna do it sometime, but I'm not telling you when. I'm not talking about it. And she was like, okay, Colleen, but you're gonna be good, okay, So she's gone. So now I have this guy, that I kind of know him. But I walk in his office and I hand my phone. I'm like, read this and tell me what it says. And so he's reading it. He's like, oh, this is good, Colleen. Why are you crying? Why? What's wrong?
He's like, oh, hold on. I don't know how to deal with women crying.
Right. And I'm like crying. He's like, this is good, right? This is good. So, but I was just like floored that I had passed. And I still, like, he'd say like, can we tell people? Can I start telling people? And I'm like, no, can I get my certificate first? I told like a couple
You're like,
of my people in my clinic.
you're like, I don't know if I believe this until I have it sent to me, right?
Exactly that. And then somebody said, they're like, oh, I saw your name on like the Facebook page that posts all the names of the people that passed, and I was like, really? If it was there, I should probably look. And so I looked and I'm like, okay, so that's two things. And so he's like, okay, you have two things. Can we start telling people? And I'm like,
He's like,
okay,
I need to start telling people.
can
Like,
I just get my certificate? So that took forever to come. But I mean, I told some people, before that, but I
yeah.
just kept thinking like they were gonna say like, oops, we made an error. Like you
Yeah.
didn't pass.
Well, you did the work, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you really did the work, and kudos to you. My recommendations usually come, I mean, like, I'm just not pulling stuff out of my ass. Like, my recommendations come from what you tell me and what's
Right.
possible. I have these series of questions, and that's where the recommendation was, we can take this along. You
Mm-hmm.
can also shoot for it at this time, but it
Right.
might not be enough. So don't put that kind of pressure on yourself,
Right.
you
Right.
know? So let me ask you, because of the type of premium program and the price of my program, um, people do take other programs before they even take mine. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll take other programs and find that there's some missing pieces, or they still feel like they don't have enough.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you say is the biggest difference that kind of sealed the deal for you, that made you feel it was possible to take the exam? Because like you said, you took it earlier because you're like, I'm ready. What was it about the
Mm-hmm.
program that helped you feel that way?
I think it was just like you know, just following that timeline and having that structure. And so I just thought like, okay, so you've just studied like really hard for 3 months. And even if I didn't feel like I was ready, I think in my brain I was still just like, you're just gonna take it in this and then see where you have to like study more. Because if you wait till May and then say you don't do well, now you gotta wait till November. So in my
Yeah.
head it was like, I'm just going to take it now, and then whatever areas I need to improve should show on the test or something
Yeah.
like that. But I think I needed that structure because anytime, like before this, anytime if you went on the ASHT website, it was just like, read all these books. And that's not, it's not going to work for me. And I
Right.
don't work in like a hand clinic, and I didn't have a mentor to, help me. And
Yeah.
so like there was just a ton of gaps, and I can't just read a bunch of books. So I think it was very helpful to have like a set timeline. We're going to focus on this, and then we're going to focus on this, and then the videos really help, so that because it's like not just reading, you're seeing what you're practicing and writing on yourself, and
Yeah.
like it was just, I think it was all of those things
Yeah.
really helped.
All the strategies, like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
basically the curriculum of the program, along with which has the built-in structure to it, helped you to feel more confident and more
Yeah,
and just like fill in those gaps of knowledge and help you feel more prepared to take it earlier
right.
than later.
Yeah. And I haven't taken a test like that, like I said, in 30 years. And even back then they didn't really talk about test taking strategies or,
Yeah.
anything like that. So and like that ASHT one, that's like, it's like a bunch of videos. They didn't really, I don't think they really talked about test taking strategies or, anything like that. I mean, it was good information.
Yeah.
And but I think it was very helpful to have like those strategies.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I hear from other people is the inability, like a lot of these other programs that are available, they're literally just regurgitating stuff from the book.
Um,
So, but really at the end of the day, one of the things that I try to do, and um it's important that is built into the program that I've created, is the ability to critically think through and connect all of the information.
mhm,
Connect all the information so you can apply it, because at the end of the day, you are treating the patient. And
Right.
when you kind of reverse engineer, I do this in the treatment room, but I might not fully understand why I'm doing it, why I chose to do that versus something else. And so if I don't understand that fully, it's hard for me to explain it to them, for me to explain to the doctor or the referring sources. But now you have that understanding. And so you can work backwards and get to that information, or from that information, you can make decisions about what to do. Right? Which is
Yeah. Right. Yep.
all right, perfect. Awesome. So one of the questions you said that you've been a therapist for 30 years and didn't ever think that this was a possibility for you. I have so many therapists who think that you have to be young, you have to be with no children, you have to be early on in your career to become a certified hand therapist, and that somehow as we get older, we don't have the capacity in our brain to study and take the exam. And for me, I don't think that it's true. I look how smart some of the older people are that are
Right.
still doing so much.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the capacity to do it no matter how many years, no matter how old we are. And I think that it really just takes a certain commitment to the process,
Yeah.
the commitment to the journey.
Right.
Outside of the fear of losing your job, what was your driving factor to not allow age to, stop you from achieving a career goal?
Um, I kind of like occasionally we would get scripts from doctors, like surgeons, and it would say CHT, So then we would have to call, and I'd have to talk to the doctor, say, I'm not a CHT, but I'm going to follow this protocol, and I have worked with like a flexor tendon repair before, and so then I felt like I was had to like say like I think I'm pretty sure I can do this, and the patient would want to come here because the other clinic was too far, or
Right.
something like that. So it drove me crazy, like having to turn people away when I knew I could see them, I knew I could treat them.
Yeah.
And it's not like I didn't know anything, and
Yeah.
but it still like it does make me nervous, like if I was to be working in a full, like your clinic where you're getting all these walk-in surgeries. I feel like I need like a day to look up and say like, oh, okay, I have this tomorrow. I'm going to read up on the protocol and see what I have to do. And it's not just all the protocols in my head.
I know my therapist has it hard, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
So, but,
yeah,
but I just,
you didn't want to keep
um,
explaining yourself.
yeah. Yeah. And I just want, it just kept nagging at me, oh, he would say like, oh, you should totally do it. You're smart enough and you can do it. But I didn't believe it myself. And so I had to like shut my brain off to stop telling me I couldn't
What
do
made
it.
you believe? What made you believe in yourself? Because you
I
studied regardless.
um I don't know. Maybe I just like in the back of my mind I had a feeling that I could do it, but my brain kept telling me couldn't do it.
Yeah. I
Um
know. It's a
so
constant fight, right? Like,
yeah,
the devil and the angel.
yeah. And I feel like I'm like, even now, like I feel like I'm like a baby CHT. Like I'm like, I just got started. I don't know everything. But I think I have that imposter syndrome too, that a lot of people struggle with, that I just
Yeah.
always feel like I'm never good enough and I don't know
Yeah.
enough. And
Yeah.
so I don't know.
You know enough. I always think, when it comes to imposter, like, I think imposter is someone who's lying.
Yeah.
Are you lying?
No,
That's
but
exactly. Are you, it's like, it's a thing that you have to in a way trick your brain, because the part of the brain that always leads with the negative, it's like the devil that always thinks that things are bad and things are wrong. That part of the brain is strong because it's a protective mechanism.
Yeah.
Think
Maybe.
about compensatory patterns,
Right.
right? How fast does that come, and how fast do they develop those compensatory patterns? It's because your body is always trying to protect itself.
Right.
So is your brain. So your brain is always constantly protecting itself from to keep you safe, like to keep
Right.
you, the ego, the person, safe. And so that part of the brain is just, it's stronger, it's easier. So the other part of your brain, that's the real you, knows what is actually true.
Right.
But
I mean, that does make sense.
yeah, right. So
I never thought about it
yeah,
like
so
that.
it's, you have to, like, that part of your brain has to be like, no, I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm good.
Right.
Right. Nothing can harm me because I'm not lying.
Yeah. Right.
So whenever you feel like, oh my God, I don't know as much as the other, or I don't know enough. No, you know enough, because you're never lying, and we can't know everything. But do you work in a hospital?
Yeah, it's attached to a hospital. It's an
Okay.
outpatient clinic.
So I used to work in a hospital. Remember Jaco? Did you have
Yeah,
Jaco?
we have
Okay, so
Jaco. Yeah.
yeah.
I hate Jaco.
I know. But you know how stuff, but when Jaco comes around, everyone's like shitting in their pants.
Yes.
Because you don't want someone to catch you lying. So what do they train you to say when Jaco comes around? I know the answer, but let me double check to confirm.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the part of your brain that not everyone is like really quick. Like, for example, I can't do math in my head. I can do math. I got a calculator. I know how to work that, but I'm never like fast with my brain in terms of that. I'm not fast with like the one of the reasons why I don't do quizzes in my program is because that's not how the test tests you. But I'm not good with quizzes. I don't need you to pop up in my face all of a sudden one day and be like, do you know this? What is that?
Yeah,
right?
that would just shut me down.
Right? That would shut me down. I don't know. I don't know the answer. So that's like this fight or flight, but stuff, but it's the way that the information is coming at you that makes you pull back. So if you always go like, yeah, I know, but you know what? Just before I confirm with you, let me get a few minutes and then I'll get back to you. That's how Jaco is, right? That's how, when you want just, sometimes we just need a little bit of time. Like I can shoot off the hip from other ways. Like I can take a concept and I could take something complex and make it really simple. So that's just my gift, that's like unique to me, but I can't rattle off like trivia to save my life.
Yeah.
So however you are, that's your awareness, and just understanding that and saying, no, it's not that you have imposter syndrome in the sense that I'm not lying. I just, let me get a few minutes, gather my thoughts and my perspective, my opinion for you. And I'll come back, I'll come back and tell you once I've gathered my thoughts.
Right. Yeah.
You know how to do a flexor tendon. You know how to do, a hand, a wrist, and up, like because a joint is a joint. You know how to do it. It's just sometimes just like, give me a minute. Because you're a thoughtful, intentional person.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Most therapists I know are not liars.
No.
Not. We
No.
so we care about the patients more than they care about themselves half the time.
Right.
But to me, I'm kind of like, you're not an imposter because you're not lying.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a way of reframing it to always know that my intention is there and it's good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's a different way. I never thought about it like that before. Because my brain's saying like, you don't know enough.
Yeah, no, we're not supposed to know it all. That's what the internet's for.
Yeah.
We shouldn't know everything. Well,
Right.
one of the things I always say about becoming a certified hand therapist isn't just about getting the letters. I mean, it is, but it's about that commitment to constantly learn and develop
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And when you see progress in your career and in what you're doing, it keeps it exciting
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps you wanting to work. And that's really one way of preventing burnout, the, healthcare fatigue, all these like catchphrases that people are putting labels to, there's solutions to them, but problems are always more like a clickbaity, like problems always get more attention than solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the words. But if we focus and we say, oh, I am doing, things to further myself along, I am always improving year upon year and learning more every single time, then, you know, it's worth it,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
has getting the CHT changed anything for you?
Um, no, like not, I don't think so, really. I don't, I don't know. I have my like, little pin on my badge I wear.
Yeah. Well, like I sign my things differently. I got 3 more letters behind my name. Well,
Well,
do
well,
you?
ours is all electronic, and so it like I don't know if I can even. I don't know. I guess I should see if I can change my signature on the electronic form because right, they all just say like OT, PT, and
Oh my God, girl,
I
Colleen, you better get on that and redo your signature.
I don't know if I guess I have to find out how you do that because I've not seen I've never seen anybody's like that says anything different than like OT or PT.
Oh,
So
girl.
I have to find out.
Yeah, your signature changes. They just have to add a comma and a C and an H and a T, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, our signatures, we sign our things and then it's just an electronic image and it gets embedded in our,
Oh, okay.
thing. So I don't know if it does for you, but
Yeah, because we don't like physically sign. It
oh
just
no,
is
I don't.
automatically
Yeah,
signed.
it's just like done, submit.
Yeah. Right. Because even like with my, because I'm a certified lymphedema therapist too, those initials aren't even on there. So I guess I'm putting that on. I should probably see if they can put those on too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Have you gone and marketed yourself to some of the surgeons so you don't have to explain things and you can just say, I'm a CHT, send your
Hmm.
patients to me.
Yeah. I haven't yet because I've been like so busy at work. So so I guess when I have like some downtime, I'll have to like
Can you
do that.
can you get rid of some of your non hand therapy, or you don't have to become a snooty CHT and be like, I only treat
Right.
for tendons. But
I'm the only therapist. I'm the only OT in my clinic. So
um,
I don't think I can really get rid of any because then I wouldn't have enough patients unless I suddenly get a bunch of hand patients. But
you're like, sorry, I gotta make space.
right,
I gotta make space for this crush injury.
right.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, it's good. And then
Good.
I also we also hired um a brand new therapist who's in an outpatient clinic. So I've been, kind of like mentoring her over the past year too. And so I was like, geez, that was another reason too. I was like, I have to do this because like I'm supposed to be mentoring her.
And you're like, I want to know what I'm saying. For real,
Right.
for real.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so
So,
great.
yeah.
Well, I know that time and money, your time to be in the program, your money to commit to the program, um, is it's a big ask, right? It's a
Hmm.
big ask. People, that's all they have is time and money. So,
Right.
have you felt that the program was worth it for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's, I mean, like I said, it's like like you were saying, if you were to take like a college class or something, it would, I mean, probably cost like that much anyway, and you probably wouldn't even get that much out of it.
Yeah. I've
And there's
seen,
not any classes, that's
yeah,
the thing too, is like there's not anything, there's not any very many like this even,
yeah.
any
You know,
courses like this.
fellowships cost like $12,000 to $15,000.
Yeah,
And you don't even get your CHT.
yeah, the OT that's doing it from our clinic, she didn't have to pay, but she had to take a pay cut in order to do it. So
Hang.
yeah. So you're paying, yeah, basically, yeah. So because she was like, yeah, it's a lot less money, but it's a really good experience. And I was thinking, but I find it odd, like they're paying her less, but she technically right now is the last one because they have to save money to build some building or something like that at U of M.
Yeah,
So,
it's
but
tough. It's tough out there right now in the business market. So however you need to make yourself more marketable
mhm,
is how, because if you're not growing and you're not doing more, then you're dying, right?
mhm,
Then you're backsliding. So, congratulations again
yeah,
for doing the hard work,
yeah,
really doing the hard work. And really just getting it done. It takes a lot of bravery and commitment on your part to do it. So congratulations.
yeah. Thank you.
All right, awesome. All right, well, I'll edit and
Okay.
do some stuff with this, but we'll share it because I think a lot of people needed to hear that it doesn't matter how old you are.
Hmm.
So I get that question
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot to study though. There's another therapist at another clinic, and she's
Yeah,
a couple of years younger than me. And
yeah,
she last year, she's another person that she's like, we're gonna do this, Colleen. And I'm like, okay. So I kept going. She was like, yeah, maybe I'll do it in May, so,
yeah. It
so
is a lot. It is a lot, but in the end, it's worth it because
yeah,
the way I see it is when something is easy, everyone's doing it, and then no one values it.
right,
When you put
right.
your work, you put hard effort and work to it, like,
Hmm.
there's pride in there that not
Hmm.
everyone can do it, but you did it,
Right. Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah. It wasn't easy. It was
it's
hard, but
it's not supposed to be easy. It's not
yeah.
supposed to be easy because if it was easy, nobody would want it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Just like a sniff. Sorry for all the sniff people, but working
Hmm.
in a sniff is easy here, but hard on your body. Nobody
Right.
wants it.
Hmm.
Not nobody, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
So, all
Yeah.
right.
Well, I'm glad I found your program, and I appreciate all your hard work, and like I don't know how you make all these videos because there's a
It's a
lot.
lot of work. It's a lot of
Yeah.
it's people think it's easy going
No,
online.
it's a
It's
lot.
not. It's a lot of work. You see the inside part, it's a lot of
Yeah.
work, but I love it. It gives me great joy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing anything else. So
Hmm.
it's been a blessing. So
Right.
all right,
Were
thank you.
there
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Were there others that from our like little cohort that passed it in November too?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, that's good.
absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good. That's good.
For
Yeah, because
sure.
we never really like talked to each other like in a group, so I didn't really feel like I knew them, but I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I hope they all passed.
Some groups talk to each other a lot, and then some groups don't talk to anybody. It's really
Yeah.
interesting. It's just whoever is in there. I
Hmm.
always encourage, like, one of the other past years, they talked to, like, there were tons of study clusters.
Hmm.
And I think this last one, not too many people got together. But the way I see it is you have to find something that works for you.
Right.
There's no time to waste to be nice and say, oh, I'll still work with you or study with you when it doesn't work for you.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, like sometimes people say, oh, I want to study with you, but then they're not studying. And then
Hmm.
you come and they want you to teach them. You're like, I thought we were studying together. I didn't know I was supposed to study and then somehow drag you along because you didn't
Right.
study and you weren't
Hmm.
prepared. So we can have a back and forth where you're challenging me and I'm challenging you.
Right.
Right. So So yeah, so it's important to have the right, the right people studying with you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's why there's the live call. So you see people, you might not have questions, but other people will have questions that you didn't
Mhm.
think of, but you get the benefit of those questions. You get the benefit of
Yeah.
those questions, and you get the benefit of those answers. And then when you
Right.
go on to the study group calls, like everyone is there too. And then it's like, okay, how do you think through the question? Because it's not about getting the question right. It's about understanding why you got it right and understanding why you got it wrong. Because if you're
Mhm.
just all about like, let me get it right, then you'll never know what you don't know.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's
So
key. That's key.
yeah.
All right, Colleen, I gotta go. I gotta run
Yeah.
and talk
Okay.
to someone
Yeah.
else, but
Okay.
I really appreciate you taking your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks
And
again.
I'll see
Okay.
you on the next call.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Bye.
bye.